What's up?
How are you doing, my friend?
Hello,
I'm good.
hello.
Hey, Nick.
Oh,
We're not doing this today.
We're doing this today, Andy. It's summer
Yes, we're not doing
vacation.
this.
It's summer
Yo,
vacation.
enjoy it. It don't make no
Today we're
hello.
going to talk.
difference to me.
Hey, Nicholas, how you doing?
Um, yeah. As far as reading poetry, that's during the open mic and poetry live. That's at 10 o'clock. This part is the interview. But if you want to submit a poem for us to read tonight, you're more than welcome to do that, guys. But anyway, welcome to Unraveled Influence. Our guest today is Nick Watler, my friend, the inspirational poet. How are you, my
Good. And today you're getting the light since I'm being because usually what I do on podcasts I don't do podcasts dark. I always put my light on because because this hour is for me, and I want people to this hour is about me, and
That's absolutely right. This hour is all about you. So why don't you take us through this whole experience that you're doing this year, Nick? And thank you so much for turning on the light. Any Bad Religion fans out there?
Oh God.
and um and so I have a surprise for you since it is so I'm going to usually what I do, and a lot of people know that one of my one of my talents is singing. I love to sing. And so there's a song I sing all the time. It's called um um Some Say Love. No, the Rose. It goes, some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leads your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. But I say love, it is a flower in you. It's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learned to dance. The dream afraid of waking that never had a chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learned to live. It's the night, but when the night has been too lonely and the road too long, we think love is only for the lucky and the strong. Just remember, in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow, lies the sea with the sun's love in the spring becomes a rose.
Nice. Amen.
Oh my gosh!
Word.
Wow, Andy! Wow! Already we are hitting it off
Yeah.
right with Nick, inspiration poet, and like he said, this hour is all about him. I wanted to highlight one thing that I don't know if everybody out there knows that Nick, you have been doing pretty much a live every single day, whether you're participating or you're running your own theme live. Can you talk about that? What's your goal? Where are you at? How close are you to finishing? We're all interested in this.
So so um so I started doing so I've been on doing poetry for like 5 or 6 years, and so um I started doing lives, and I it used to be where I used to be shy, so where I only do live like once a week, but then um people would ask me to do live, like ask me, are you doing live there? Are you doing live there? So I decided to do a live every day. And what I recently started doing is every single day doing a different topics. I did anti-depression open mic, anti-bullying mic. I did a um I did a suicide prevention open mic, and so I've been doing an open mic every single day, and I talked it over with my co-host, and we come up with the thing is I have anxiety, so I have anxieties that so I can't be on the screen by myself because I start to literally when I'm on the screen by myself, I start to fidget. I start to fidget. I start to look everywhere. My ADHD starts going off the charts. And so um, I um talked to this one poet, and so he told me that he will be my co-host and help me host these open mics. And so I talked to him, and we come up with different topics. And even though Mental Health Month is over, we're still going to be doing mental health open mics because I think a lot that resonates with a lot of people. And these mental health open mics, there's not a lot of mental health open mics, and so I I've been doing mental health open mics, and a lot of the poets are saying that a lot of the poets are saying that I chose my name correctly, that I chose an inspirational poet, the inspirational poet correct because um it's it's and, and for those who don't know, I the stuff that the open mics I do, these are stuff experiences that happen in my life. I've been bullied. I've been I've I was a suicide survivor. I almost committed suicide. Um, I I am a survivor of everything that has happened to me, and um, I've been bullied. I've been disrespected. I've been hurt so much so that I decided when I become a poet to, and a lot of people will take my kindness as weakness because I'm a pacifist. I don't fight, and so a lot of people take that as a weakness because they see that I'm not a fighter. So a lot of these people who are bullying me think since he's not gonna fight me out, that I can keep on disrespecting him. I can keep on bullying him. He's not gonna do anything. That's what a lot of people. But I'm more of a person that uses my words. So I'm more of a talker. So if you're bullying me, I'm gonna tell you what I think. I'm gonna tell you um I'm gonna I'm gonna tell you what I think, and I'm not gonna be afraid, even if you try to put your hands on me. I'm just gonna tell you what's on my mind because God gave me yes.
I just wanted to ask a couple of quick questions because you said some incredible things. And Andy, I know you'll agree with me, and I think we agree with whoever it was that told you that you chose your name correctly. You absolutely are an inspirational poet. We have some people already in the chat room already just saying how much you are a soldier, how proud they are of what you've been doing, and how well you are and how well you're coming across tonight. You said that you had some mental health themed nights, especially things like suicide prevention. I know you had a depression one. Was there any of those nights that you felt was one of the proudest nights that you've had? Like, was there a really good vibe, or did you also have any nights that you felt like this is going to be very tough for me, but it's important that we do this? So I'm going to ask you both of those questions.
So my my most proudest part of the mental health open mic was I think 2 weeks ago when we had we had actually for the first time ever we had a signed author and signed to a publishing company. She was a poet and she came into the room and it was actually her manager who told me to invite her up and her manager said, "Oh, this woman named Diana Lee wanted to perform a poem." I told him, all right, if she sends a request, I'll pull her right up. So she did, and then I asked Diana Lee. I said, do you know who that Dom Pedro guy is? And she said, yes, he's my manager. So I invited the manager up, even though he was not a poet, he was just a manager. And he he commended me on my open mic, saying that you're doing a great job having this platform. He said, thank you for this platform, because he said that there's not a lot of platforms like this out there, where they there's not a lot of open mics out there that would spread awareness of these different medical or mental health issues.
I can imagine that must have been a pretty incredible moment to have somebody that has clout, that has been in the business, a professional, like nomenclature to commend you on what you're doing. That has to really set aside really the work that you're doing and how important it is. Andy, I know that you have been really kind of pulled back at some of the topics. I know suicide prevention and suicide surviving. I know that's something that's we've talked about some of those before. Andy, did you have anything that you wanted to comment or ask our guest
No,
about?
yeah, no. So again, I just love to listen. I just love to embrace everything that you guys are talking about, and it resonates with me. In so many ways. Like I was bullied too growing up as well for being different because I also have ADHD, but I also have schizotypal personality disorder, and I was always bullied, and I was always made fun of because of how I talk, how I dress, the way I react. Like, let's say if I got upset, people would make fun of me and they thought it was funny that, look, he's reacting, so let's piss him off some more so he can react because it's funny. One of those things. And I grew up in, pretty much born in the 80s, but grew up in the 90s. And I don't know how it is today, but I know when the culture back then, I feel like that was like the one of the worst times to live, I guess, because a lot of things were not talked about back then as it is today, which is why I love today because no one, like, I grew up with parents that really didn't sit down with us and talk to us about that. So it pretty much was very discouraging, if that makes sense. And it was just pretty much I had to just go through stuff on my own. I didn't really have any proper guidance, and it wasn't that they were intentional about it. It was just how the culture was back then. So I guess my question to you, Nick, is when you look back in your life now, how good does it feel to know that, you know what, I got through all this. I'm stronger than I've ever been. And how amazing does that feel for you that now you get to use this platform to talk about your life, to share it with others, and to meet other people who have the similar circumstances as you. So how does that feel to you? And then my question also is, what impact are you looking to leave behind in doing this?
So, so for me, it feels great because when at an early age in my life, I turned to God. I and when I turned to God, God lifted all that pain, all that suffering that I was feeling, and to have that weight lifted off of my shoulder, um, it feels now I feel proud. I feel proud of the person I am, and how far I came, because I come from being shy to being stuck in this box, and to finally come and burst free, to feel like I can get out of that box and I don't have to go back into that box. Um, so I would say I feel like a pressure has been lifted off my shoulders.
I
I
have
know that feeling very well. I'm sorry, Angela.
no.
I'm sorry. I'm just
No, please connect because I wanted to change it to a different topic. So I want you to actually say your point because I know your point is very important. So go ahead, Andy.
no. I know exactly what you're saying, Nick, because I came to Christ in 2013, and I was at my lowest point. So what you're saying is something about when you accept Jesus, is something about that, like the weight lifted off your shoulder, and it's like a refreshing feeling, if that makes sense, right? Because one thing I've learned in my walk with the Lord is the fact that a lot of things have to get worse in order to get better. But it's when it gets better, we look back, be like, wow, you know what? If I went through that, then whatever I go through now, it won't be as bad now because, yes, at the moment it might be crazy, but I won't feel the heaviness as much now because I have something to go to. I have a God to pray to. I have something that no matter what I go through, I have a source that's going to get me through whatever I'm going through. So I think that's a very beautiful thing, Nick. Again, so much respect for you for that. And to even talk about God too on top of that, because, in society today, it's kind of hard now. And it's very, just the negative connotation that Christianity has become over the last, 5 years. So the fact that just to be bold like that, like you do, and just, it's hard. And I have so much respect for you for that. That's pretty much what I wanted to say, Angela.
Oh, no, I'm glad that you guys get to talk about that. I know we'll probably get back into the conversation of like more mental health, but I don't know if everybody out there knows you or knows what you've been basically blowing all of us away with on during the open mics, but you have a very unique poetry style, and I want you to kind of talk about how you are not a person who actually writes or plans poems. It comes free flowing from you. You blew me away the first night when we talked about why do I die a thousand deaths, and I think was it that I don't know if it was 100 or 1,000, but we'll talk about that later. But can you talk about your writing process because it's pretty incredible. And friends, if you missed the beginning, you'll have to watch the replay. He kicked it off with the song.
So so yeah, to those who don't know, the type of freestyle I do is the type of spoken words I do is a little different than regular spoken word. The type of spoken word I do is very, very rare and is very unique. And so it's my own type of spoken word. It's different from regular spoken word. So and this goes back to the religious side. So my through my walk of Christ, so this goes back to my walk of Christ, to my walk with the Lord. So in 2020, I suppressed my emotions for seven. I've suppressed my emotions for 7 years. So in 2020, I was thinking about suppressing your emotions, and that anger is those emotions have nowhere to go, but to attack your organs. So what it was doing was it was killing me. Suppressing all that negative energy was killing me. So I had a near life death experience, and I saw God. And God told me that you have a story to tell. You have experienced stuff that is that he said you have experienced stuff that not not a lot of people survive from, and so God gave me the gift of poetry, and so
Nick, can I ask you if it's, of course, it's up to you if you do feel comfortable. Do you mind talking anything about your near death experience? Because I absolutely believe what you say is true. That when you're having those kind of negative emotional experiences, that you will get physical manifestations and it will attack the body. It will attack that central nervous system and all of the endocrine system. So, absolutely, what you're saying that you experience it's absolutely medically backed up as far as like the detriment of your health. So thank you for sharing that because that's important. And we want to hear about your, so let's hear about that.
so you say you want to hear more about near-life death experience?
If that's okay with you, Andy, is that something you would
All
be
right.
interested in hearing?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean that yeah, like, and I just want to make this point to what you said too, the fact that the suppressing of the feelings, that struggle is real because especially us men where we at least for me, I was always told, oh well, you're a man, you can't act like that, you can't cry or you can't be vulnerable. That's for women only. What's wrong with you, And it's like that's the lie that we've been fed. So even though a lot of things have been acceptable as I've gotten older and stuff like that. But it's the fact that in the back of your mind, there's still those thoughts that our pride sometimes suppresses those feelings. You get what I'm saying? So I just wanted to add to that as well. And it's like I love what we're doing. This is what it comes down to, honestly. And it's like you said, you have a story to tell. We all have a story to tell. And I'm glad, like I said, even when I spoke to you privately, I'm glad that, I'm glad you're doing this with us and sharing your story because your story needs to be told.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Andy. And also, I forgot to tell you, Andy, that was such a great question you had earlier, too. I'm so glad you asked that. So, yeah, if you could walk us through kind of that moment, because that's a very unique experience. Not all of us have had a near-death experience. So, if you're willing to share that,
when my body was being attacked by those the negative when my body was being attacked by negative emotions, my heart stopped for a moment, and so I a natural response, my brain just kicked in, and it was like my nervous system went into defense mode. So I journeyed to this space in my mind because my heart went out for a moment, and um, my brain just jump started. The nervous system just jump started my brain, and I journeyed into a space in my mind where I was I saw this manifestation of God, and God was telling me that you went through stuff that not a lot of people survive from, and He said that you have a story to tell. It's time for you to turn that negativity into something positive. And so I was given the gift of poetry, and um, the but yeah, that's what I was going through when I was going through my near life death experience.
So it sounds like you had some sort of seizure activity that happened with the brain, and that's when you kind of, like you said, you went into your own experience where you had that conversation with uh, what you as identified as God. And when you came back, how soon was it that you found this medium after having that near death experience, or were you already tinkering with this medium of being an inspiration poet?
I started poetry in 2020 in January 2020. So it was like I think like it was like a month after my near life death experience, and I was still suffering a little bit from the near life death experience and the after effects of it, and I was a little nervous and a little scared. So I was scrolling through Instagram one day, and I saw it said open mic, and I never heard of the word open mic at that point. And I said, maybe I should try. And um, I said, should I request or should I not request? So I request. The woman told me to do the first prompt that I was ever given was the murder of George Floyd. So that was the first prompt. The woman told me to do a poem, a poem in my own words about how I felt about the murder of George Floyd. I told the woman I didn't know how. I said I don't know how. I said I don't know how to do poetry. The woman told me, she said don't tell yourself that. She said if you tell yourself I don't know how, that's a reprogrammer. You're reprogramming your memory to shut down, a sign of progress. And so she told me to she said the words that poets never use, and the words that are not in the dictionary of poetry is I can't, I don't know how, I won't, I don't, and I will try. She said that poets, as poets, we never use those words because that's degrading us. When we use those, she said, when you use the words "I don't know how," I'll try, I can't, you're degrading yourself. And so she told me that she said, I'm just, she said, don't say it, we'll try, just do it. And so I did. And a lot of people put in the comments, keep on doing what you're doing. Your inspiration, your inspiration, your inspiration. You, they gave me the fire emojis, and I had a standing ovation. Standing ovation, and so she's and that poet is from the UK. Her name is Oya. Have you ever heard that name?
Yes, I believe so. I absolutely believe so. I've seen that poet through the Instagram channels. Absolutely. And that person that.
But yeah, so Oya was the first person to make me come out of that shy state. Oya is the first person that made me come out of that because I was afraid, and I was afraid, and I was afraid of myself. So I was afraid of myself, and for years I didn't want to come out of that because I was not just afraid. I was afraid of the person I am because all my life people have told me, "Oh, you will never make it. Oh, that you're pathetic. Oh, you're worthless. Oh, you should just like yourself. Oh, you should be afraid of the person you are." And I've been hearing people say that so much that I began to believe I was afraid of myself. I began to believe that I was afraid of the person I was.
And Nick, I could not just, I just want to echo what you just said because last night Andy and I had a poetry recording, and we talked a lot about kind of my own anxiety and how it has triggered my own self and tricked my own mind into believing things that may not necessarily be true. And also, you've said it, like I put in the chat, I was afraid of myself and who I really am. And Nick, you are not so as like an odd as person as you think, because absolutely there are so many people that feel that same way. I know I feel exactly how you described your emotions, and that's why I believe since the moment you came on, like artistically, we've connected so much.
Yeah.
And I'm so honored to have you on tonight. There is so much love for you in the chat tonight. Nick, is this an opportunity? Can we hear some of your work? Is that I think there might be some people who may have not had an opportunity or privilege, or so we would love to hear something from you.
Yeah, so I've recently been practicing this piece, and I've been practicing this piece all week. So the first poem I'm gonna do, because I've 3 poems that I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do 1 musical poem, and then I'm gonna do 2 of my. So the first poem I'm gonna do is called "The Depth of My Soul." I put it on what you wanted to. I put it on nomination. You see, most of my life, people told me to go somewhere and die. You see, from the depth of my soul, I wonder why I am alive. From the depth of my soul, I feel pain. From the depth of my soul, this pain is driving me insane. From the depth of my soul, I'm losing my mind. From the depth of my soul, I'm losing time. From the depth of my soul, this it's killing me with every rhyme. From the depth of my soul, I'm losing my mind. You see, from the depth of my soul, I keep on dying constantly. My soul is fading in history. From the depth of my soul, I'm slowly being cut like a dagger, like a knife, slowly struggling through pain and strife. See, from the depth of my soul, is this life? From the depth of my soul, I'm losing my mind. From the depth of my soul, I'm going blind. From the depth of my soul, I can't see. Blind by my own anxiety. Death of my soul. From the depth of my soul, I can't see. I'm blind. I lost my vision. I lost my mind. You see, slowly fading, slowly dying, slowly falling. You see, from the depth of my soul, I'm like a hurricane, a twister, a 70,000 magnitude earthquake. So you better watch out. The earth will shake. The earth will rumble. Lava will ensue. Volcanoes will erupt. The lava will burn you. So you see, I'm a force to be reckoned with, a force of nature. From the depth of my soul, you see, I'll show you my true nature. So if you mess with me, you will face the burn, flames erupting, volcanoes burning. So you see your soul, the depth of my soul. I will show my soul as token. From the depth of my soul, I will show you what is broken. From the depth of my soul, you try to kill me, but from the depth of my soul, the world will turn cold, rumble, and fall beneath this moon. You see, I will rumble and I will wash you away like a typhoon. So you see, from the depth of my soul, I am broken. From the depth of my soul, I sell my soul as a token. From the depth of my soul, I'm being driven insane. From the depth of my soul, I am losing my life at every moment in every strife. From the depth of my soul, I'm losing my life. So you see, the next time someone tells me to go somewhere and die, I would tell them, surprise, I'm alive. You can try to kill this soul, but this soul stays alive. You try to kill the soul, but this soul will devour you whole. So from the depth of my soul, if someone tells me to go somewhere and die, I'll tell them I'm lucky to be alive. You see, from the depth of my soul, I cried day and night. I cried so much that I can't cry no more. From the depth of my soul, I've been bullied so many times that I have no fear, no emotions. So I'll make this clear. From the depth of my soul, you will not destroy something that can't fear. So from the depth of my soul, I'll be heard, and you will hear. From the depth of my soul, I sell my soul as a token. From the depth of my soul, I am not broken. From the depth of my soul, I'm alive. You see, from the depth of my soul, I turn everything I touch gold. I turn everything I touch to gold. From the depth of my soul, I turn the world cold. From the depth of my soul, this heals my soul. So you see, from the depth of my soul, I turn the world cold. So you better wear a jacket because you will freeze if you even try to touch me. So from the depth of my soul, I will turn the world cold. And from the depth of my soul, I turn everything, whether young or old, I will always heal my soul. So from the depth of my soul, I turn the world cold. Home.
Wow. Wow. I love
Andy,
yo.
you gotta go,
Yeah.
Andy. You gotta
I
go, Andy. I don't know if I can talk for a
I
second.
don't know what to say, but I love what he says. the part where it says, "Oh, when you tell me to die, surprise, I'm alive." Like I love that, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And if I could say this is what I really enjoy most, actually, Nick, what I could say most about this about you is you really go to a whole nother level that I just don't think a lot of poets go when it comes to really saying how raw and how real this is and how it feels. So why do you think you have the courage to speak so bluntly and honestly about feelings that a lot of us have? I really do feel the words that come out of your mouth when you speak
Yeah.
about these topics,
I
especially these mental health
yeah.
ones.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know that it's like, you know how sometimes you know how you feel, but you don't know how to express it. I feel like Nick just took all those words out of my mind and just like, okay, here, this is what it is. Because it is like that. Everything you said, it is that real.
And raw. It's raw too. It's not
Yeah.
pleasant. It's like you scrape your knees, you fall down the steps, and you scrape it, and it's it's like pain.
It's like
I
a
call it pain.
scab.
I call it pain without torture. You're not being tortured, but well, you actually this is actually pain with torture. The way you really go to that level. But what did he say, Andy? Say that one again. That you really love. Surprise! I'm alive.
Oh, he said, when they tell me to die, surprise, I'm
Oh
alive.
yeah.
I love that.
How do you have the gumption to do that?
Yeah, I like the whole typhoon thing too. They say, "Oh, I'm like a typhoon." Like I love that. Just the analogies he uses, man. So talk to us about that, Nick, because I gotta know, man. Like I love like where'd you come up with those metaphors like that, the way you do, to describe the feeling? Because you could just say, "Yeah, I'm sad," and I said, "No, you're saying this is how I feel. Oh, I'm gonna get out of this." No, you're not saying, "Oh, I'm just getting out of this." You're saying, "Oh, like a typhoon, I'm doing this. Like a tornado, I'm doing that." Like like the metaphors. Like, talk to me about that, because that's very unique and it's very raw.
So, the when I was the thoughts I was thinking when I came up with that poem, and the reason and how I have the gumption and the ability to speak, because um, poetry is my way of um, ever since I became poetry is my way of thinking. Poetry is my way of speaking. So I've been doing poetry um, I've been doing this type of poetry for so long that poetry has become my way of talking. Um, so and I start now even when I'm not doing a poem, sometimes I rhyme. Um, and it's because I've been doing poetry for so much that for so long that I it's become part of my language. So every time even when I'm not doing a poem, sometimes I rhyme, and 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 I started to catch that a couple months ago where I'm rhyming when doing poetry.
So like
And
just when you're talking to
so,
somebody, you just start rhyming, or that just comes up in your mind that rhymes.
I start rhyming when I'm talking.
Mm.
And it's something you can't control because again, you're saying this is your language. So when you're not getting it out through the artwork, it's coming in through, it's spilling into your real life, and that's why you're saying you're recognizing it through the rhymes. Why do you think that is? Just because you're such an incredible artistic talent, or is that something
Because he
you've
likes to
always
let the
done?
thoughts out. That's why.
It's because I've been doing poetry for so long that um that it's starting to become part of it's starting to seep into my real life. So it's starting to my thoughts are becoming connected to the poems. So thoughts are becoming my thoughts are becoming connected to the words and it's starting to come connected to the poems that are being formulated in my mind. Um, because even when I'm not, even when I'm sleeping, I'm formulating a poem in my mind. So even when I'm asleep, my mind is still formulating those poems.
Do you dream in poetry too? Is that a crazy question to ask?
I do dream in poetry.
Can you explain what that looks like or what that sounds like? I threw that out there with kind of a
So
joke, but I think you can explain it very well. Go for it.
so um I dream up the words that I create a poem with and formally visualize a picture in my mind. So my mind is taking those words and creating pictures and visualization. And that's how I dream poetry.
So, can you I was gonna ask you if you don't mind reading us another piece. I would like to hear another piece.
Um, and Ryan Becker says, "Mine's not tired, just fired and wired from all these tired." Uh, but yeah. So the next piece I have. Let me do. I'm gonna do the thousand. I died 1,000 times one.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you. And then we could talk
Uh,
about that. That would be beautiful. Thank you. Because
all
that
right.
really connected with me. I thank you.
You see, they say every dream is a good dream, but that's not true. You see, some days I contemplate suicide, wondering why I survive while others die. So you see, why am I alive? I have died 1,000 times. I keep on wondering in the graveyard in my mind. And this gravestone says, "Here lies a broken, forgotten memory, a broken, fragmented reality." So you see, here lies a broken memory, a broken, fragmented reality. So you see, my mind is broken. Some days I don't know what's up, what's down, what's left, what's right, what's dark, what's day or night. See, I'm slowly dying, slowly fading, slowly dying, and I died 1,000 times. My soul has died. So you see, why am I alive? Some days I contemplate suicide, wondering why I'm alive while others die constantly. You see, my mind is broken, always going back to that same graveyard. Realize a broken, forgotten memory, a broken, fragmented reality. He was once whole, but now he's broken. He was once whole, but now he's broken, beyond repair. You see, he cannot be fixed. He cannot be broken. He cannot be fixed. He remains broken. So you see, my soul keeps on dying, and every death it dies worse than the last, slowly fading. It's driving me to the point of insanity. It's driving me mad like the Mad Hatter. No pitter patter. So why? Why do I keep falling in this pit of despair? Why do I keep on dying? Why? When will my life end? When will I survive? When will I get out of the anxiety, these thoughts that rings in my head? See, I'm slowly falling, slowly dying. Sooner or later, I will die, be laid to rest in my own mind. So you see, I contemplate this question over and over in my mind. When is it my time to die? When is it my time to die? When is it my time to die? Or when is it my time to survive? See, by the end of this poem, my soul has died 2,675 million times. So you see, by my mind, I keep on contemplating this question. when is it my time to die? Or when is it my time to survive? Home.
Wow, bro.
I just want to say this first from Deep Thought, the lyricist, who's an incredible artist himself. I just wanted to say that this is so amazing, Nick. I'm so proud of you. You're always showing love to everybody here and the lives and just so much positivity. And again, you're doing such incredible work. You saying I died 1,000 times, that really resonates with me. It's something I experienced. I think I showed you so much love when you first came to the open mic. That was your first hit on our open mic. How you were able to encapsulate that feeling so perfectly. Andy, what other comments you got for this, or what other questions for
No,
us?
no. Not that I have any questions. This is like, just know. And from one question to another, I don't understand what I'm about to say. God sees that. He's gonna honor you beyond your wildest imagination. Whether you know this or not, that is what you're doing. That's an anointing that God has given you, and you're gonna impact lives. You're gonna touch people that you didn't think you can touch, even though you don't see it. But in the name of Jesus, I prophesy over your life that God's going to bless you 10, 20 million times abundantly for what you do. And you're going to touch someone's life that I don't know why. I'm getting this vision like you're going to say some words in your poetry and right instantly someone's going to get healed right off the bat kind of thing. Kind of like, I don't know if you know that story with the lady, with the woman that was bleeding. I think it's the book of Luke. And where she took that leap of faith and said, if I can just grab, that she went for the grab, touched his cloth, and instantly she was healed. I really feel in my heart, in my spirit, that God's going to use your poetry to do that same exact thing. And I just felt, the thing is, when God puts something in my heart, I have to be obedient to that. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I have to be obedient to whatever it is that God's telling me to tell you. That's an anointing in your life, brother. And the devil's gonna try to convince you something that's not. Just know that God has the final say. God overwrites everything else that's around you. God always has the final word. Just remember that. I just felt that in my spirit to tell you that. Ooh, okay. Wow.
Andy, wow.
I had to.
Andy, just saying that, Andy. I'm glad you got a chance to express that, because I know that that's not always an opportunity for you to be able to do, Andy. But Nick, as somebody who I would consider myself to be a spiritual humanist, talking is just somebody who also is. Oh, okay, sorry. The last comment was part of Nick's poem. I'm so sorry. I misunderstood that. But what you are doing is connecting human to human. There are so many people that have experienced similar background stories that you've mentioned before. If you're just joining us, our open mic will be in the next 10 minutes, but Nick opened with a song, and then he discussed how his history, where he had been bullied, and that pain had caused him to have a near-death experience, which has brought him the light, and he has graced us with his light tonight by turning the light on tonight. And Nick, thank you for doing that. Is there anything else, Nick, before we kind of get to some at the end, but any other more messages that you are looking to share with others, or what are some of your upcoming themes for your open mic? Because again, he is doing open mics every day that are a lot of them tend to be mental health themed, and they've been so incredibly important. So Nick, what are some things that are you looking to achieve up down the road?
So before I get to my last poem, I'm going to, because my last poem I'm going to do is a musical poem. I'm going to tell people about. So what I do, so I'm going to be doing a lot of mental health, little mental health open mics, and I am tomorrow. I am doing I am doing a stand up for bullying open mic. So stand up for against bullying open mic tomorrow. Will be the topic because we have to learn to stand up to the bullies. We have to learn to never um people bully us and let people take advantage of us. So tomorrow I'm doing a special edition of the bullying open mic called Standing Up Against Bullying Open Mic, where inspiring people to just stand up for bullying and stand up against bullying and to help them because a lot of people, at 100 out of 90, sometimes people will be bullied and people will just watch. People will just sit there and watch while the people are bullying, but
That's
what you don't
almost
know is
worse.
you're.
That's almost worse. It's almost like you're complicit in it and allowing it to happen because you're not stopping it or at least making them feel uncomfortable. You're accepting that behavior. So I think that's important that you mentioned that. So the people who are silent, allowing that to happen, the ones who want to record it or just be witness to it, they're complicit in it. They are just as guilty. They're just behind the hands or the voices. They're adding the power to it. So I'm glad that you mentioned them specifically. Thank you for that, Nick.
So the last poem I have, um, and it's time to show you the full extent of my poetic ability. So the last poem I have is a poem that will show you the full extent of my poetic ability because this poem is one of my musical poems which mix music and poetry at the same time. It's called The Grace That Saved Me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I was once I was once lost, but now I'm found. I was once blind, but now I see. Opening my eyes to see the grace that has saved me. So you see, it was God, it was the Lord that taught my heart to fear and faith that secure me. You see, amazing grace. Grace has saved me from this suffering. So amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. You see, I'm free. Free. The chains cannot bind me. You see, the chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, my Savior, ransom me. And like a flood, His mercy is strange. Unending love, amazing grace. His love is unending. His grace is commending. His grace is bending. His grace is mending this broken, fractured mind. You see, it was that grace that saved me. This grace that saved me from the suffering that's inside. So you see, amazing grace, uh, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. My chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, my Savior, ransom me. And like a flood, his mercy is strange, unending love, amazing grace. Poem.
Wow.
And you
Wow.
on that because that definitely reached out to you. I
Yeah.
know that definitely reached out
I'm
to you. Are you there,
so the
Andy?
comment yeah, no, so the comments are making it difficult for me to turn my camera back on. So, so I can't so it is what it is. I really can't put my camera back
Sorry,
on.
sorry, everybody. It wouldn't be one of our shows unless we had
Oh,
something
hold on.
go wrong
Wait,
technically.
okay, I got it. I got it.
There's
Oh my
my
God.
buddy. There's my Wonder Twin. There's my Wonder Twin, Andy.
Oh man. But yeah, well, like I was saying before, man, just what I was saying earlier about what I said that God put in my spirit, be encouraged by that. It's easy to misuse if we're not careful, but I know that the as long as you keep your eye on God, you got nothing to worry about. And like I said, so much respect for you, bro, for what you do. Not everybody can do what you do, and again, that takes a lot. And I'm honored and privileged to have met you, and I'm honored and privileged that you were able to come on our platform and do this interview with us and talk about your life, talk about your testimony, because again, people need to hear this.
Andy, I have to agree. A little bit of a different direction, but I also have to echo the same sentiment that I feel so absolutely lucky to have had you on the show every week. The last 4 weeks now have been incredibly important, and for you to go as raw as you go, as deep as you go, as far as like how real bullying, suicide, depression, anxiety. These are a lot of things that a lot of people have experienced or they have loved ones that have experienced. And again, to highlight the fact that this is not just psychological, it does poison the body to the point
Mhm.
where you'll have a near death experience. And thank goodness, thank God, here tonight and before tonight and for future nights to share your story, to continue to share your story. And again, Andy, I agree with you 1,000%. 1,000 lives, 1,000 souls, 1,000 agrees with Andy that thank you so much for being with us tonight. Nick, what are some last thoughts that you have for us? Like, what's next? What's other than the upcoming live? After you're done with this goal, what's the next thing for Nick? Are you looking to continue to highlight the way you do poetry, or are you looking for new things to add to your repertoire?
To my goal is to just heal the world with my poetry. Because how I,
Beautiful, beautiful statement.
so what I tell myself is, as poets, we are prophets of God. So as
Man.
poets, it's we are messengers, we are prophets. And if you look back, God is in the biblical sense, um, there is God is the first poet. And if I may, I want to do one more poem before the live ends.
Absolutely,
And
we would be honored.
since I said heal the world with my poetry, since you, Unravel said heal the world with my poetry, I'm going to be doing um the heal the world, one of my heal the world piece. There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. There's a place brighter than tomorrow, and you will find that there's no need to cry. In this place, there's no hurt or sorrow. Journey to the place in your mind where you will feel no pain. There is no hurt or sorrow. There is no insanity driving you insane. There's ways to get there. If you care enough for the living, to make a better place, to make a better space. You see, so why do we keep strangling life when the earth crucifies soul and everything? Why don't we just stand in God's glow and heal the world? Heal the world from the suffering inside. Heal the world so we can make it a better place, a better world for you in the holy grace of the Lord. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. Make it better if you care enough for living to make a better space, to make a better place. So you see, can we just heal the world? Heal the world, make it a better place, in a better mind, in a better space. So why can't we just heal the world to give it a better face? So you see, can we just heal the world? Heal the world with our dreams, to create a world where you can see as far as eyes can see. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. And heal the world, save it for our children. Why don't we heal the world, not just for us, for our children's sake? So what lets us embrace, let us be the healing touch. Let us be the change that people see. Heal the world, give it a better face. Heal the world so you feel the sovereign embrace. Heal the world, heal the world, and heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire race. Home.
Wow.
Andy can't come back right away because of the comments.
No,
So many
it's the
comments that love
comments.
you. So many comments that love you tonight. Nick,
Okay.
thank you so much. Can you talk about that real quick before we end our honoring you hour? Please discuss how you kind of interwove the music into the freestyle there. Because Andy, what do you think? Beautiful
So,
piece.
No, I love it. I love how he could take a song and then use the the parts of the song and then puts his own input into the piece. He did the same thing with Amazing Grace, and now he's doing it with Heal the World. I love it. Again, it's a message that it's needed, and it's not a lot because everything is, excuse my language, but everything is blunts, 40s, bitches, and all this other crap, and then all this other stupidity that this is not talked about enough anymore. And it's just like we need more words of encouragement, of peace, of realness, rawness. At the end of the day, um, like let's just get back to basics. And I think that's the problem. We need to get back to basics.
Andy, I hate to say this because I've been very selfish the last few weeks, but it's almost like Nick was here for you this week.
Oh,
I've been very selfish. Like, this is what you needed this week. I'm kind of up and coming. I'm feeling good. Everybody's been checking in. So, Andy, this was kind of for you this week, huh? Do you feel like Nick was
yeah.
here for you this week?
Oh, definitely. I mean, like, all right. So my walk with the Lord is just the last couple of years weird. Because I did had a season where I was so on fire for God, and then 2020 hit, and a lot of things changed, which I can have that conversation for another day. But so I feel like little by little, especially in this particular season of my life, this year alone, I feel like God is trying to get my attention again in a way that He's helping me be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because the uncomfortableness will take you out of that stagnant place to get me to where God needs me to be and where I'm called to be. That's where I'm at right now. And
Absolutely.
I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting the patience, and I'm not gonna rush this one. I'm gonna let everything play out when I should have in the past, and I didn't. And now I'm not rushing it. I'm gonna just let the cards, let the cards go where they fall.
Andy, I agree with you. While I might not describe it in the same way, there's definitely been some sort of pull happening in the atmosphere that is bringing a lot of people together here tonight. And Nick, you are one of those people, and thank you again so much. If you happen to miss some of our beginning opportunity to discuss Nick, please check that replay because I'm about to kick everybody out. Andy, it's your turn to drive the
And then
car.
restart the live, and we're gonna do the
Mm-hmm.
jam sessions, open mic, and
Oh
poetry.
yeah,
So,
and
all right.
Nick, yes, sir.
so but yeah, so you said the last thing. So the last thing I'm gonna say for the last thing so you said the last question was um how do I how did I learn to incorporate music and what made me incorporate music into poems. So um I'm a person that grew up listening to, for me in my life I grew up listening to music. I listened I listened to gospel. I listened to the only thing I don't listen to is rap. I listen to gospel. I listen to um I listen to the blues. I listen to R&B. Um and um so um I'm a person that grew up around music, and so I learned that music is just a form of is like a form of poetry, because music heals the soul. Poetry heals the soul. So I thought, how much power would it how much powerful would my poetry be if I mixed if I mixed if I mixed the music with the poetry.
Wow.
And to answer Ryan Becker, I have listened. I have grown up listening to the Beatles.
And Nick, I have to say, what you said was so important about how poets are here to help heal the world. We're about to, Nick, we are hoping you continue to stay along for our next segment, and maybe come back on to do another piece. But that brings us to kind of like why we are here, like, because we are here to really tell the true history of humanity. And both Andy and I, we happen to run into these amazing people, Doctors Without Borders, and I'm actually going to turn off the car. Andy, you can start talking about that when we start the open mic, but